Parker Brailsford is ready to anchor Bama's offensive line. James Brockermeyer out, and that tells me that Brailsford won the job, and he'll be the center for the Crimson Tide. Alabama offers four-star quarterback Keelon Russell. We're going to get into that. Kool-Aid talking about his recruiting class and what they meant to Alabama and how things have changed, plus the NFL draft. All that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Help us grow this channel. And yell Roll Tide with us as you hit the thumbs up button. Let's get this party started. Roll Tide, everybody. Ah, there he is. Big, sexy Elmo. Brett Elmore in the house. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. And let's get right to it because we've got so much to talk about on the show today. But Parker Brailsford is the center on the football team, Brett. I am 110% sure of this.
Probably going to have to be because, there's competition left. We'll talk about that, here in just a second. But, yeah, and we talked about it through the spring. I mean, he was kind of in and out, and it looks like he's back in. And, of course, he's totally used to Coach DeBoer, and it looks like this is going to be his job now at center.
Yeah, and, I mean, he came over from that Washington team that got to the championship. He transferred from Washington to Alabama to be with DeBoer and the staff. He understands the offense. We didn't see him during spring practice or the 8A game. And many people thought that there was something going on and he might transfer. And it turns out that it's going to be James Brockermeyer to transfer. And we're going to talk about him here in just a second. But Brailsford brings the experience that I'm sure gives comfort to the offensive side of the football. He understands what they were able to do last year at Washington, the way that they want to call plays. He was on an offensive line that got the job done in a major way last year. Remember, they were the best offensive line in the country. There's no telling what it took to bring him to Tuscaloosa. James Brockermeyer had a great spring, and he's going to cash in on it. And he's leaving, Brett, and he hits the transfer portal. So we're not always privy to what's going on behind the scenes. But, at the same time, Brailsford's going to be the starter, and Brockermeyer, just like his brother Tommy, both of them came in together. One was a 4-star, and that was Tommy. And then James was, I think, a 3 and a 4-star, depending on whatever one you looked at. But he's going to hit the portal.
Yeah, and he also says he put the old do not disturb list on his on his portal door. Do not contact. So apparently he knows where he's going. But you're right about Brailsford and moving in from Washington with Coach DeBoer. We've talked about it so many times on the show about how smart these linemen are.
Yeah.
They always called them the big uglies down there in the trenches, as Keith Jackson would say. But these guys are really, really smart. And when you're implementing a new offense like we are in Alabama, you better have a pretty good and very smart center. We've had problems with the center in the past. Everyone knows that. We've been through that during the spring here, hoping that we had that right center. And when Brailsford transferred in, we said, this is probably going to be our guy, and it looks like it is.
Yep. So I get it. I get it. I love the fact that they had a competition. Would have loved to have seen Brailsford in the 8A game. He wasn't there. But at the end of the day, Coach DeBoer's got to put someone in that spot that he feels good about. And not to say that Brockermeyer would not have done a fantastic job, but
sure.
This was one of the insurance policies that was put in place by Nick Sheridan, by Coach DeBoer, by Coach Shep. All of those guys worked with him last year. And it's like having a coach on the field for them. That understands what's going on with this offense. So I get it, and I'm not worried about it, but I do wish Brockermeyer a successful career. And, and we appreciate his service. I mean, this is the world that we live in. with college football. All right, Alabama, talking about Texas, Duncanville, Texas. That's where Blackshire was from. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Keelon Russell gets a 4-star offer from Alabama. Now, Brett, I was a little curious because, I mean, you're hearing from everyone that he's a lock to play quarterback at SMU, right? But Alabama just offered him. So, I mean, let me give you this list right here before you get into it. TCU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Purdue, Baylor, Cincinnati, Vandy, Memphis, North Texas, Florida, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, Duke. I mean, the list goes on. Even Texas is a possibility for him, although they haven't offered yet. But Alabama, a little bit late maybe, but they feel like they have a chance to get him.
Well, he's committed to SMU. So he's going to have to steer him away, but Alabama's still going to offer him. And he's one of those guys, 6'3", 175 pounds, like I mentioned. He's a 4-star from Duncanville High School in Texas. And he's one of those guys. He's a playmaker because he's another quarterback that can beat you with not only his arm, but his legs.
Right.
But you mentioned the talent that comes out of Duncanville and has come out of Duncanville. He's been surrounded with some really good players the past 2 years. But he's able to get the ball out fast. He could move it with his legs. He's entering his senior season with a 29-1 record in high school football and a 70% career completion percentage. That's pretty good. Last time I checked. And then last year, I mean, Duncanville, he led Duncanville to a 14-1 record. And it's a second straight 6A Division I title. Completed 189 passes, 262 completed 109 out of 262 for nearly 3,500 yards and 38 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. So, and on the ground, equally as good, ran for 6 touchdowns. Like I say, he's a playmaker, but he apparently had committed to SMU, but still in the mix for a lot of teams.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But anytime you offer a quarterback, to me, it's a big deal. And you're getting some offers. You're seeing some offers, Brett, different guys getting offers right now from this Alabama staff. And sometimes you offer guys that you don't expect to take it, but you just want them to know that there's, a spot for them.
That and we're hearing that 4-star 2026 running back Jonathan Hatton Jr. He has received an offer from Alabama. And he's another dynamic 4-star running back. And he said that he felt like Alabama is definitely a place to consider. Yeah. But anyway, that's in the mix too. We're starting to hear more and more.
All right, let's talk about this. You and I were on the phone and we were kind of talking about what Kool-Aid McKinstry said to RG3 on his podcast. And it really is telling, and it's sad because I agree with Kool-Aid, someone that we've all loved from the time that he came from Pinson to Alabama. And all of us would pay for his key to the city just out of respect for Kool-Aid. And also because how petty they were. We talked about that a couple of days ago. But Kool-Aid's the man, and he was talking about we were the last class that Saban didn't have to worry about, Brett. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was on RG3's podcast, and he said that, and here's the entire quote. He was talking about the last class that really Coach Saban didn't really have to worry about the guys asking for money and stuff like that coming out of high school. And he says people worry about the wrong things, and he's absolutely right. And he believes that the changes, just like we do, the changes in college football cause Coach Saban to retire and get out because he felt like they were the last class, which would make sense time wise. That it was all about playing for Alabama and playing to go to that next level. And guess what? It's going to pay off probably tonight or tomorrow for Kool-Aid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Kool-Aid is going to be. I think he'll be drafted in the first round. I mean, what NFL team wouldn't want to draft a Kool-Aid McKinstry in the first round and be like, "Hey, here's Kool-Aid," and then hey,
there's Kool-Aid. It busts through the wall. That'd be really cool.
As long as they're not asking him to return kicks.
That's right.
I don't think he'll be doing that in the NFL.
It's just crazy to me. And Mick, you've been there before, but I've talked to the past about seeing Kool-Aid, right down here, right down the street at Jasper High School when I was playing our football team. I do play-by-play for, and now this guy is going to be going to the NFL. That night, I knew he was something special, but I didn't know he was going to the NFL kind of guy. You just don't think about those things.
I always thought he reminded me of Dre Kirkpatrick. Just for some reason, just kind of like the way that he played, the way that he moved.
Yeah.
And it didn't surprise me at all, and maybe, this class is the last one that we'll remember for being kind of that going through the process class. It was embarrassing when Nick Saban went to Capitol Hill and said that all the parents wanted to know at his house was how much money they were getting, not how my son was going to be taken care of, not how they were going to be taught, not just football, but life. And that's the thing that, I've worked with these guys that have played for Alabama on shows, Brett, like have won championships. Mike Johnson way back in 2009. And then, Jake Coker won one in 2015. Ryan Anderson's been in here. He won a couple of championships. Shank in here as well. All of these guys who have won, Baron Huber. I don't want to forget Baron. And there's been more, but I'm just saying that just 5 right there. 5 great guys.
Yeah.
What do they all say? Not that Saban taught them how to be great football players, but taught them how to be great people, how to be leaders, how to be men. There's a lot more to it than just running out on a football field and tackling somebody.
Yeah.
And the shame is that for that NIL money that you'll eventually burn through, some of these guys missed an opportunity to learn and succeed in life, not just in football. I don't know what Coach DeBoer's track record is as far as that goes. I know he's a nice guy and I believe in him, but Nick Saban was the greatest of all time. And one of the reasons why is that it wasn't about the results. It was about getting the best out of every single person, that person doing their job the right way, learning how to be elite at the things that you do to be successful. So for those parents that showed up talking about NIL money, shame on you. Missed an opportunity for your kid to grow.
I don't think I could put it. I don't think I can add anything. I don't think I could put it any better. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And the other thing too, is that the money comes when you go to the NFL and you succeed for some of these guys, but not every player that shows up at Alabama is going to be an NFL player. Right.
Yeah. And the thing too is, Mick, think about when you were 18, 19, and when I was 18, 19 coming out of high school, and then all of a sudden you're talking about all this money. Where does it go? What's going to happen with that money? It may sound crazy, but it's a huge difference between being 18 and like a 22-year-old college graduate with that kind of money.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just it's such a big step to go into high school, from high school to college. But then you're talking about all this money and all this other stuff. I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my head around.
Well, I think Alabama will still be doing NIL packages, but this is pro sports, and it needs to be treated like pro sports because it is pro sports, unless they're going to lay out some guidelines, Right. So thank you, Supreme Court, for doing this to us, right?
Thank you for ruining the game.
You guys ruined the game. Yeah. All right. Mock draft wise, let's talk. Bama's probably going to have another top 10 draft pick, Dallas Turner. A lot of people have him going to the Falcons. The junior, 6'4", 252. I think he's going to be a great NFL player. They may have two first rounders. J.C. Latham projected by some to go to the Jets at number 10. So you got two guys in the top 10. And let's see, I'm just flipping through right now. Have you seen Kool-Aid in the first round or Terrion Arnold, or you've seen those guys? Up Kool-Aid number 26 to Tampa Bay on this one, CBS.
Okay.
And I figured
you're looking at CBS, or is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at CBS, but they're all different. I mean, no one knows, right? Except
yeah, that's what they. It's just all stuff for us to talk about,
but it's not going to be like last year where you get the first and the third pick, right?
Right, yeah.
But you could have two top 10s. I mean, Saban's going out, man. Like what he has done at Alabama in his time, the groundwork that he's laid for these guys to have amazing careers is really off the chart. Gosh, he's just the best, man. And congratulations ahead of time to these guys. But Alabama's going to have another bunch of guys drafted.
Yeah, and good luck to Coach Saban on his new gig that starts tonight. His first official appearance on ESPN is he'll be doing draft coverage.
That's going to be weird.
Yeah, really weird. But I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think you mentioned Terrion Arnold. That a lot of folks said he's going to the Jaguars as the 17th pick. Latham. All in there. Just good luck to all these guys because they deserve it. They deserve it, and it'll be interesting to see Coach Saban tonight. I'm sure he'll be well prepared for this opening broadcast for him.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to be. But he knows this stuff like the back of his hand.
Yeah,
hopefully all four of those guys end up in the first round. Love Terrion Arnold. He's one of my all-time favorite Alabama personalities.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to watching it tonight, just to see what happens.
It's crazy how the draft has turned into much watch TV. I mean, there's going to be like regular season baseball games going on, and no one's going to care. They're all going to be watching the draft.
All going to be watching the draft
tomorrow, right? Like, what's going to happen? Yay! Like you're cheering a guy. But it gets to the point where you're like, I don't know that name. There's a lot of guys that make it that you never heard of before.
Yeah, you get it. You get it a day's worth of this stuff. It's like with a third pick of the 7th round or something. Something crazy. And it's like, I guess I'll stop watching now.
Well, guys, a couple things. First off, the show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort. If you like to play golf, check out Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta that you can play right there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. I'm talking about a really fantastic course. And while you're there, Golden Moon Casino, Silver Star, table games and slots. You got the Timeout Sports Lounge, sports book, Vegas style gambling that is legal. And, and hang out. A lot of great restaurants. Mama and Them's is my favorite place when I go in there. It's just a really
Mama and Them's.
Mama and Them's. Yeah, it's one of my favorite, spots. That's really close. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours from Birmingham. They've got Boys to Men coming that July 3rd and 4th weekend on Brett's birthday. Big and Rich, Brian McKnight, a lot of really great acts. They're celebrating 30 years.
I can't wait to go. I'm ready to do a little gambling, my friend.
Are you?
And yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it, and I can't wait to go to go and play some of the table games at Pearl River. But I do want to wish you a happy Thursday. Today is, of course, World Penguin Day.
Really?
Yeah, it's a formal occasion. And also Teach Your Children to Save Day. That's one of those things with that NIL money.
Yeah.
And have you noticed? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like save, like bank accounts save.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thrifty.
Thrifty. Be thrifty. And have you noticed, Mick, in my story of the day, have you noticed some bottles of Coca-Cola have the yellow caps right now?
Yes.
You have noticed this. You know what that means?
That it's a yellow cap.
No, that means that Coca-Cola is kosher for Passover.
Really?
So if you're in the gas station, today or tomorrow, and you go to the Coca-Cola section, you see the yellow caps, you'll know that's a kosher Coke. So I don't know if it tastes different than regular Coke or what, but it's a kosher Coke.
Yeah, yeah. I know in baseball, you go through that, and in some places you'd put like all beef Franks, the kosher Franks for your buddies that are Jewish to make sure that they could eat, during Passover and all that stuff. So pretty cool. I'll know that for next time. I won't take one just because I wouldn't want to take it away from someone that might need that Coke. But it's good information, and you can listen to Brett Elmore on the Brett Elmore Show Monday through Friday, except yesterday because Brett was sick. Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling a whole lot better. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I feel a lot better. But I was sick yesterday, but back at it this morning.
Look at you, man. You are tough.
That's right.
Tough hombre. WJLX and Jasper, 100.5 FM, the sound of Walker County. And Brett, you're on all the apps.
Yeah, all the apps and everything. WJLX1015.com.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And again, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Get in that comment section. And do us a favor. Have a fantastic day. And roll tide.